MP3 export library not found, FFmpeg library not found, and other errors in Audacity, version whatever you have. Audacity version 222 or 2018 version will work on Windows 7 without any service packs. We call it Service Pack 0, just kind of as a backronym. When you run Audacity, it will not detect lame and FFmpeg installs and give you those errors. You need to download the zip file versions of FFmpeg and lame they suggest that are specific versions I'm going to bring up. And just extract them directly into the Audacity folder. In this case, it is a portable version, so that's why I'm doing it. Then you open Audacity, you click Edit, Preferences, Library, Locate, and point it to the Audacity folder, and it should work. Now, the trouble with this is that they don't tell you which versions work with which, and they won't explain it. Every version of Audacity beyond version 2 is quote-unquote known to work with lame, which is for audio, 3.1. And all of them from 1.3 up are known to work with lame 3.98.2. These are zip files. Those are the links to them. And all I'm going to tell you here is when you try to download them, even though this is actually the correct link, the website will dead-ass refuse to download. It'll say it can't find it. You have to go to this website here, lame.thatbazino.org. It's actually the authentic place to download it for lame. It doesn't look authentic, and it tries desperately to make sure it doesn't look authentic, but that's what you use. Audacity 2.06 and later specifically should work also with FFmpeg 222. And there's the file, and again, if you directly click that link, it'll refuse. That's what it's downloading, but it seems to make sure that you can't just directly download it from the website. I guess they want to waste bandwidth showing their main page. Audacity 1.313 yada 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 to 2.05, just below that, should work and is recommended with FFmpeg 0.62. But on 222 apparently it won't work. Now I want to point out that unless you want to go through the trouble of installing Windows 7 Service Pack 1, you're going to be stuck with a bunch of stuff that won't work. You'll need to download Visual C++ Redistributable for Visual Studio 2015 October 7th version, and it'll be labeled VC_redist x64 x86. There'll be 13 megabyte files, and there's a link for it currently that works. That will allow you to get away with using Windows 7 that doesn't have any service packs without adding anything if you don't really want to, except for these two files. And it'll allow you to then use Audacity version 222 and nothing better than that, put out apparently in 2018. And it will allow you to use FFmpeg and lame, but only if you manually do all this work. You can also use the auto installs, and you got a 50-50 shot of it working correctly, and otherwise it'll just make you pull your hair out. So let's go forward to the next step. This is Audacity, and again, help file about Audacity 222. The reason I'm using it is I do not have Service Pack 1 or anything better than that on the computer. Now you're probably wondering, why don't I just update to Service Pack 1? When I was doing computer repairs, the most common problem people ran into wasn't that they didn't have Service Pack 1 on their computer, or not. It's that Service Pack 1 had never been finished and broke it. For several years, I would dare say 8 years, Microsoft Corporation put out Windows Service Pack 1 with errors in it, and they wouldn't fix the damn bugs. That's right, the first service pack they put out always had problems with it. There's also something called Windows Service Pack Minimum, which they don't allow anymore, which actually fixed most of the problems. It was a tiny file. They went out of their way to get rid of that one because people were using that and then never updating. So their idea and logic was to erase that and make everybody download the one that broke shit. Most banks and many large professional firms refuse to do updates to Windows 7 Service Pack anything simply because it worked. If you're working at a company and you're doing mission critical stuff or handling people's data and don't want to have a lawsuit and the computer works fine and it's not connected to the internet and nobody sticks a thumb drive in it, updating it is going to have risks, and if you spend 1 and actually 5 years running a bank network, the last thing on earth you want anybody to do is stick a single damn file on there, much less 900 megabytes of updates to make it Service Pack 1 compliant, and then have it break because, again, for the umpteenth time, Service Pack 1 was breaking computers. Visual Basic installs break it enough, so why would you allow that? Once the computer became stable, people didn't update it. And this became the mantra for most people. That meant that many companies put out 2 versions of a Windows 7 compliant program. One for Service Pack 1, whatever the hell it is this week that broke, and one for people who did not install Service Packs at all for fear of breaking their computer. And also, it should be pointed out, Microsoft Corporation stuck in malware code in the goddamn updates. Yeah, they did. They put in software that would monitor what you were doing, try to figure out if you were running a legal or illegal copy of Windows 7, and then screw the computer up on purpose. And you know what's funny? It would do that, it would break things when you had a legit copy. There are literally thousands of cases like that where they kept breaking computers. So as you might imagine, no. Somebody working at a bank, running a bank network, somebody at a company that has to do 3D CAD drawings and stuff, they're never going to let that shit happen. So there are millions of computers for a very long time that were not updated. And if you put out a program that wouldn't work on Windows 7 without a service pack, if you didn't make it to where it would work on these machines that were outdated looking and never updated, you couldn't sell programs. So that's why 2.2.2 is still there. I mean, you can still download the damn thing. I'm going to leave a link to it. Now let's go here because this is so old, all of the other plugins, like for importing FFmpeg encoding or MP3, they're going to be older versions. Maybe. Now again, what I did here is I downloaded the zip version of these files. I'll have a link only to the zip version. And again, the zip version won't work because the website's trying to keep you from downloading it. The FFmpeg library says it's version 5.5.5.5 or 5.2. It's really given the name FFmpeg library version 2.2.2. It's the same name as this Audacity install. In fact, they even have a special download for it. Yeah. And what you want to do is unzip it to the Audacity folder and be done with it. As for lame encoder, lame stands for lame ain't a MPEG encoder, which of course it is. MP3 library version lame 398 works. Now, if you hit the locate button, sometimes it says it can't find it. If you hit locate, you point it at the Audacity folder, which would read like that, and you hit browse, and then you select the encoder, and you're fine. Now, this one is not going to keep with that very obvious standard of being able to double check this. It's going to give us an error message that is false. We automatically detected the valid FFmpeg library, and of course the answer to that is no, it didn't. Well, it did because I threw it in the directory, but it doesn't automatically detect very well. The auto detection function on this relies on your computer being somehow some magical unicorn version of Windows 7 that I've never heard of. Anyway, I'm going to say yes, I'd like to, and I can just go here, and if I hit browse, I have 2 options. I'm using the newer one. If I do this one, which is the older one, even though it doesn't tell me that, if I do the older version, it won't work, but if I do AV format 55.dll, it seems to work. Now the thing is, when you do this, it immediately says, I found it, but it only does that if you throw it in the directory. If you locate this where they tell you to do, where you load it onto, program files or some other part of the hard drive, you hit the locate button and point at it, it doesn't immediately tell you got it right. So again, just unzip both sets of files to the damn Audacity directory so you don't end up angry and frustrated like me. In general. Oh, and while we're at it, I'm going to bring up something here, just an important thing. In the interface option, please choose classic theme. It's appropriate. So anyway, other than that, that's literally all I have for you. So again, to really quickly recap, we use Audacity 2.2.2, and that will work on everything from Windows 7 up. And if you want the extra features, after you've tested this, you can just get the newer version. And if you want to be able to do really anything, I recommend that you go to Preferences and go to Libraries, and then make sure it's running lame version, whatever will work, and FFmpeg version, whatever will work. But the ones that worked was lame 3.98 on this system, and on FFmpeg, it was actually listed completely different than this. It's 2.2.2. Okay? All right. And the reason I'm doing this again is because this thing came up with these error messages after it had been working just fine for years. it managed to screw itself up, so I had to completely erase it and reinstall. Now, I want to point out something. I just downloaded every single Audacity version besides this one as well. No joke. I have 30 copies on my D drive. This is the newest version that'll work on Windows 7 without a service pack, which means it definitively should work on really everything. And I'm using a portable version because I want the damn thing to be able to be zipped shut, dumped on another hard drive, saved on a floppy disk or actually CD someplace, so I never have to go through this again, and maybe you won't have to either. Again, Windows 7 without any service packs being a low bar to hit, that means this will work probably on every version after this point and keep working from that point forward. And yes, when LAME and FFmpeg don't work, you're going to have to do the simple thing of dumping it to the directory the program's in. And yes, you will probably need Visual C++, Redistributable, blah, 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 and I'll have a link to where you download those, but you may not need to. And if you're like me and still won't install Service Pack 1 because you're stubborn, I understand. Anyway, this will have a link to Audacity 222 and FFmpeg, well, it's called 222, and, obviously LAME version 3.98. Because that's the combination I found that will work virtually all systems. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that.